Hello, we're in Ludlow, Massachusetts this evening at the Island Pond Cemetery, and we're going to point out some of the features of the cemetery for you, and that will allow you to appreciate it better. And we're looking at the oldest burial right there. At the end, I'll walk up to it so you can see where it is. We're down the center road, only about 150 yards into the cemetery. So, that's the oldest, Ezra Parsons, in 1818, and his wife is buried next to him, and they're both brownstones. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is there's an obelisk over here. It says OSC 1915 on it, and cobblestone base. And two men, well, four names are in there. Two men died in France during World War I, and the first died in 1914, the second in 1918. The United States was not involved in 1917, so the 1918 might be an American. The 1914 might be a British citizen that signed up, came to the United States, and then when the war started, signed up through either the Canadian or the British military. But OSC, I'm not sure what that means. Does it mean Order of the Sacred Heart? I don't know. I know the Society of the Sacred Heart. It might be an honor. It's hard to tell. Okay, now in the distance is the modern cemetery, and it has a separate area back there for most modern burials, but some of the modern burials are through the center of the cemetery also. Now, right after the sign, but into the sun, there's the Jenks plot. This Jenks plot is 30 gravestones long, plus a few more off that line, and most of them are 1820s, 30s, 40s, and they actually face west, which is the correct position for burials before 1860, because their head will be pointing in the westerly direction, their legs pointing in the easterly direction. And their footstones are not there anymore, but they would have been on our side of those. And the tablets still face in the west. That's great because they started that way. And if you look at most of the old ones in the section, they do face west. All right, now we're swinging around. You can see some modernism mixed together with the old here, and it's hard to understand how they made a cemetery such that that could happen. We're going to show you the Fisk burial. There's 8 burials of the Fisk family. One of the family, he died in 1868, and it says right on, he died due to the Civil War in 1868 due to injuries received during the war. All right, so he died not during the war itself, but 3 years later due to the injuries he had received. I hope I can find out what those injuries were. But 6 of the Fisk family's tablet stones are on the ground in the grass. 2 of them are still upright, the oldest 2, but the newer 2 from the middle 1800s are on the ground. That's not a great sign. Okay, now we'll step back, and towards this direction, you can see the front gate is out there. There's an artillery gun there. There's also a stone with a commemorative plaque on it. All right, and there's no burials for the first 100 feet or so, which is a nice sign. It's a peaceful area with nice trees. All right, and then as we sweep back inwards, we come to our starting point, and you see a line of stones. These stones all point towards the direction of the southwest, which is not the correct position. And I think what they did was that they moved these stones sometime in the late 1800s in order to conform to their thought of what the cemetery should look like. There was only a few of these were family ones, so they were single ones, and they put them out in a straight line. Right? I don't know if they moved the body or not. If they did, fine, but if they didn't, that means that the stone's no longer with the burial itself, and that is common, right? They tried to force a churchyard-style cemetery into that of a garden-style or a lawn cemetery in particular, right? Now we come back to the original 2 brownstones over there. Those brownstones are the first burial, and that means we can start a panoramic for you. Okay, what I'm going to do now is go inwards to an old gravestone for you, and then also visit the OSC one. You come with me? See that? Good. Is it on?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to try to go inwards as best we could. We see here one here that was in the base and it collapsed over. Clarissa, the wife of George Wilbur. But the reason why we come out here is to see. Here's Nancy, the wife of Urza Parsons, died 1824. And then next one, Urza Parsons, died April 25th, 1818. And this is the oldest burial in this Island Pond Cemetery. All right, and next to it is a fallen one. And now when we go out, we're gonna go out towards this military stone. And it has a little curbing on the outside. And it says 1915 OSC. And it has at least 4 names on here, plus one on the base here. Clan McLennian. But on the top it has Alex Carcel, 1914, Private A. Miller CEF. So that's the Canadian Expeditionary Forces, killed in action in France. August 8th, 1918, age 25. Charles C. Craigie, Private RCAF, that's the Royal Forces, age 21, killed in action February 25th, 1945. All right, so I think 2 died during the course of World War I, and then 1 during the course of the Second World War. And then it has a Robert Rice, died in 1984. Okay, so that takes a lot of explanation. I'll try my best I can to find death records and obituaries to see what's going on there. And the last thing I'll show you is this Jenks line. There's one Jenks pointing out this is a federal government stone for Isaac Jenks, but all the rest are privately made stones for the Jenks family. A long line. Looks like too many in a row, so they might have been moved around. Okay, thank you very much.